Perfectionism can be seen as a delay tactic by the psyche when it doesn't feel ready to take inspired action. It feels uncertainty, it feels unknowingness. And there's a part of it that would prefer to have a deeper sense of confidence, in other words, trust. So, perfectionism could be seen as a lack of trust in the outcome in some form or another. And so when we engage repetitively with perfectionism, it's a defense mechanism. It's a way of keeping ourselves seemingly safe. But the byproduct of it is then we don't take inspired action on things. We remove risk, we remove the possibility of failure in an outcome, and we trade it in for a desire for certainty, which creates delay. I'm Danielle Lynn, by the way. I talk to very rad creators, such as yourself. We talk about a variety of topics, but all of them root back to your remembered ability to live your version of a flow-based life. The stories that you tell yourself, the stories you tell yourself repeatedly, they are creating the frame for the possibilities that can reach you. I share with people that is just how powerful that you are. The stories you repeat, they create the parameters for the possibilities. And so when you are going on this path of saying, okay, yes, I'm a reality creator. Yes, I actually do want to live what inspires me. In essence, what you're saying is, I am taking on a new lifestyle. I am choosing a lifestyle where I am more committed to the continued nourishing of the frames and the perspectives and the stories that are both in integrity and congruent with what is true to me, and yet also are opening up the pathway for possibilities that perhaps I was once shutting down. Sometimes people come up with a resistance to this because they internally or externally feel they lack the capacity. It's sort of like a self-fulfilling repeating cycle. When we make a determined step, we choose. When we make a determined step to go, well, whatever time I do have, whatever energy I do have, I'm calling it in. I'm inviting myself to take the yes and step. I am more interested in what I can continue to cultivate now than I am in nourishing stories that feel disempowering. Because that's what happens when we reflect on times that didn't seem to work out. We're nourishing and watering stories of what didn't work out. And some people say, well, that's realism. That's realistic. It's just as realistic to consider and nourish the stories of what did work out. And sometimes people find themselves prioritizing things that don't work out because subconsciously they think, if I can think my way through what went wrong and prepare myself for the future, I can insulate myself from it happening again. But what you're really doing is you're just amplifying the memory and the remembering and the sensation of what happened when things were challenged. And so therefore, that is where your consciousness is at, and you are less likely to be receptive to easeful opportunities, situations, and things. You can notice this because, for example, if there's a relationship that you would desire, but you keep saying, it's not happening, it's not for me, people aren't like this, this is reinforcing your knowing internally of what is possible or probable for you. I will tell you right now, there are billions of people in this world. There exists more than one nearly exact configuration of what your heart is truly calling for in a partner and what they are calling for. A lot of times people will invest in a story that they must suffer or hurt to be in a relationship, like love is hurt, or there has to be compromise, there has to be pain. And I believe in a lot of ways people maybe misinterpret that understanding, and they accept and allow more suffering and pain than is actually, let's say, truly necessary. Putting that in quotes for the journey. And I say this without any judgment at all. Because from another perspective, you could say, well, then that's completely necessary. If it's the journey you're on and you're enjoying it and you like the challenge and you like scaling that cliff and you like the push and pull and the back and forth, well, it's what you want. It's what you've created. I simply invite people, when they tell me about any of the situations in their life, one of the first questions I ask them is, are you having fun? And I don't mean that pedantically, I mean that genuinely. Because sometimes you can have fun. People do all kinds of things for fun. People will rock climb for fun. They'll do extreme sports for fun. They'll do debate team for fun. And so sometimes we consciously or unconsciously construct those challenges externally to us in relationships, in business, and things and like this. And we get confused when we don't appear to get certain results. Well, I want a relationship where I have this kind of love. I want a business when I'm making this kind of money. But what you want oftentimes more than that, if there is some kind of conflict, is you want to resolve an internal challenge through an external format, such as a relationship, such as your work, such as something external you'd like to receive. And so you may be consciously or unconsciously perpetuating cycles, making choices, saying yes where you mean no, because externally this represents an internal thing you're grappling with. One of the reasons why you'll see things about subconscious, inner work, and stuff being so powerful is because when you do that inner work, when you do that inner exploration, you are oftentimes diffusing the steam or the pull or the compulsion that might inspire you to make choices that appear to be against your base interests. The invitation that I have for you if you're doing that is sometimes people can then get so involved in the inner work and they get looped into a constant cycle of healing inner work, that they almost forget to live. So then the inner work itself becomes a different form of escapism. And so the invitation here is moderation. Moderation in all things. Moderation in the way that you are choosing to apply things in life. The more you attempt to grasp onto one system of living life, the more you will find a, let's say, exception to the rule. This doesn't make systems pointless, but there's something for you to grasp lightly, to utilize the same way you might put on shoes for a certain journey. I'm going to put on hiking shoes because I'm going on a hiking trail. Now I'm done with the hiking shoes because I'm at the beach now, so I'll put on sandals or I'll go barefoot. In the same way, when you give yourself the flexibility of perspectives, you give yourself the ability to take the shoes on and off, take the clothes on and off. You're not mistaking those things for your saviors or even for who you are. Instead, you give yourself more and more permission to navigate reality with both a sense of deep trust in your ability to make choices and decisions, so confidence with trust, while also simultaneously being able to surf an unknowing. And this is the place where it gets fun, right? Who doesn't like to know things? Who doesn't like to have a sense of certainty, security, stability on how everything's going to turn out? The funny thing I find is the more you grasp at a desire for certainty, the more it will appear to elude you. The more it will appear you have to work hard to have it. Because a grasp at security and certainty will often lead you to external measures in order to do so. Or in the case that I referenced, internal explorations that are never seeming to end, internal searches, internal seeking. And there becomes a point where you realize that all the seeking doesn't actually bring you to the destination, and the actual destination exists consistently, always, in bringing yourself so completely into the present moment that you start interfacing with reality in a new way. When I say you can live what it is you truly want, truly from the heart, I am not speaking in conjecture. When you give yourself full-bodied, full-spirited permission to live what truly matters to you, the world appears to shift to meet your clearest expectations. But this is not a way of creating and moving through life where you avoid what's happening right now. It's such a deep immersion in the quality of your life, the experiences of your life, that through the process of saying yes and, through adapting and living a lifestyle of yes and, of being so in tune with your thoughts and your self-talk that it is inevitable that things keep getting better and better and better and better no matter what's happening outside, that you start experiencing life in a whole new way, even without needing to instigate change outside of you first. Now, while this might sound like a bold claim, this is exactly the way that I've given myself permission to live my current version of life. Through applying this heart-inspired, wisdom-integrated way of living, I have given myself permission to express myself creatively, to manage my resources, manage my life in practical, grounded ways, to connect with people, friendships, community, and relationships that matter to me, and to deeply and authentically love myself, to cultivate a deep sense of interconnection so that I can then be present with those around me as well. My friend, there are so many resources within you and around you ready to assist you, to amplify you along this path. I have found for myself that there was a period of time I resisted working with others or getting tools and trainings because I was like, well, if I already have it in me, then why? Something that shifted my attitude around that as I started to realize that many of these portals were like co-created opportunities to have an even more enjoyable adventure along the destination. The arriving at the knowing, the arriving at the experience is inevitable, but the shape that the destination gets to take could be very varied. And I started to allow my heart and my inner intelligence to indicate to me, okay, if I'm going to have my most satisfying journey, whether it's me walking the path alone, whether it's me walking the path with others, whether it's me working with a mentor, whether it's me joining a mastermind, whatever it was, I'm open. I'm curious. Show me the step. Because what I'm interested in is my most resonant, most satisfying, most enjoyable version of the journey, my yes and. So I invite you in that spirit to check out both the Self Alchemy Lab, which is like an incubator for synchronicity, community, and a wide library of tools and resources, specifically around everything from hermetic principles, reality creation, but also practical applications of reality creation, which include resource, wealth, creativity, and the embodiment of yourself. I also invite you to check out my description link. Got some fun little things in there you may enjoy. And who knows, you might find something that says a heart yes for you. In all cases, my friend, I continue to imagine you in your most auspicious form as you walk and live this ever-present moment with yourself and with all of us. Thank you for being who you are. You rad creature, you. Talk soon.